We have a massive amount of good news to report this morning, so buckle up because there's a lot of it, and there's a lot, and it's almost all good. So it's kind of hard to find any bad news this morning, including the fact that Tesla, last time I checked, is up over 11 this morning in a flat to downish market. So apparently the traders are believing, like I am, that we have good news this morning. Well, let's start here. President-elect, President of the United States Trump and Elon Musk sat down for an interview with Hannity last night. The interview made zero news, quite frankly, for those of us who are close observers of current events. It did seem that the primary goal of the interview was pointed towards calming down the public's perception of Elon and Doge, pointing to Elon's skills, his abilities, his track record, and of course, his character. Now, 50% or more of the population believes that he's a man of good character, and believes that he's somebody who's extremely successful and capable. But there's a percentage of the population, it might only be on the order of 10%, who, for whatever reason, don't believe what their eyes, what's that song, Lying Eyes? Anyway, so that seemed to be what the effort was last night. Maybe that's impacting sales this morning. The news media has moved their criticism of Doge. They're no longer talking about how it's unconstitutional and stuff. I mean, literally, it's gone away. Of course, some of the judges have made that go away. But anyway, they're now changing their criticism to Musk's specific job title. Is he chairman of Doge? Is he the leader of Doge? Is he even on the Doge committee? What is it? It's really pretty dumb stuff and pretty meaningless as to what his exact title is and exactly his exact position. The other attack point they're now seeming to go after is, really, is Doge accomplishing anything? What are the numbers? What are the dollars? Can we take a look at the specifics? If you say it was a billion here or a half a billion there, let's look at the contract and look at the detail. I mean, holy mackerel, what are we even talking about here? The question is, we've already eliminated 270,000 plus jobs. I mean, that would be pretty clear evidence that the cuts are impactful. Okay. Multiple sources this morning are noting that Tesla has decided on showroom locations, at least two showroom locations in the country of India, and the job postings are consistent with finally beginning a sales effort there. Other job postings are consistent with potentially opening up a gigafactory there. After all, after Trump just met last week with the head of India, Mr. Modi. And so maybe we're finally going to see that factory get started up over there. And I think Elon is looking for an opportunity to somehow get some balance with his position and our position, the overall Tesla position in China. Teslarati is reporting this morning. CFRA research analyst Garrett Nelson claims that Tesla stock is trading at a fraction of market potential. Nelson believes Tesla's robotaxi business will drive the stock to higher heights. Well, he's right. We remain bullish on Tesla, he says, because we're optimistic as far as regulatory approvals and getting a regulatory framework related to autonomous driving in the United States. Quote, I think that will come sooner rather than later. It's becoming clear that Tesla's robotaxi day back in October, that was the story, was all about autonomous driving going forward. And you look at the value of the company, in our view, it's still trading at a fraction of market opportunity here, which we estimate to be north of, are you ready? 5 trillion. 5 trillion. Yes, this is not Randy. This is not Brian Wang. This is not Nicholas Gibbs. Yeah, this is an analyst saying it's worth north of 5 trillion. If you look at the global autonomous driving opportunity, we're buyers on the dip, and we've seen the stock dipping this week, commented Nelson on the Schwab network. So Elon Musk said this a little while ago, just posted this on X a few minutes ago, and it might be bigger than, I don't know, but he kind of hinted at this the other night. on the now on the when they introduced Grok 3. He says much more than scaling is happening. He was responding to Hans Nelson's commentary that the scaling laws were, apparently working, and that's why everything was happening. Elon says it's much more than scaling. Okay, well, all right. Then Nicholas Gibbs was on the show last night. I'm going to put that card up later because we had a phenomenal discussion. He was pretty impressed with Grok, as we talked about it last night. He hadn't had a lot of time to really dig into it. But I think since then, he must have played around a bit more since then, because his opinion seems to be shifting more towards my point of view that Grok 3 is a phenomenal tool. I'm using it like all the time now, and really deep subjects. Grok 3, he says, is legitimately amazing. He says, I'm genuinely blown away. Many of you know how critical I've been about LLMs. Grok 3 is making me rethink what next, what the timelines might be, where LLM AI will be disruptive. Now I got to get him back on the show before next Wednesday. I got to find out what the heck is he talking about. Anyway, in a non-news story, Nikola is bankrupt. Oh, what a shock. There is a video going around right now showing a Tesla on FSD tooling around a city in Russia. Obviously, the driver was able to do some kind of a hack because FSD isn't available in Russia. But the long video suggested that FSD will work just fine in a place where the language and the driving is dissimilar from that in the United States. And then there's this news from Mario Nawfal. Tesla FSD is now in Mexico for real. Autonomous driving goes global. Mexico gets a front row seat to the future of self-driving tech. Tesla's full self-driving just landed in Mexico, its first expansion beyond the US and Canada. FSD unlocked, it says. Tesla in Mexico can now navigate city streets, stop signs and traffic lights. No hands needed, but you have to keep your eyes on the road. Next level adaptation from chaotic city streets to unpredictable traffic. Tesla's AI is learning fast. One step closer to full autonomy. Every mile driven fine-tunes Tesla's AI for a driverless future. Tesla's global expansion is in motion. What is next? Then we have this from Tip Pranks. Morgan Stanley analyst Adam Jonas, a Tesla bull, thinks that Optimus competition is a good thing for the nascent space. And that doesn't necessarily spell bad news for Tesla. Yeah, we've seen a lot of competitive videos of robots dancing and robots doing different jobs. And I think tomorrow, CERN Basher might be going to spend a lot of our time looking at the competition, because there's a lot of fun videos out. We continue to view Tesla, he says, as one of the leading enablers of humanoid robots, no kidding, in the Western world, and anticipate growing investor interest in Tesla's role in this potential multi-trillion TAM end market, Jonas said. A successful figure, that's one of the competitors here in the US, would create competition for Tesla, but we continue to believe that this is not a winner-take-all market like other industries, like autos or machinery. Jonas thinks the news of Figure AI's fundraising, putting a valuation, I think, at around $40 billion, will boost the humanoid robot's market standing amongst investors, thereby offering another reason to consider humanoids as they contemplate the upside for Tesla's shares. Oh, you mean we should contemplate that the humanoid robot should add value to Tesla? Oh, no, not that. All told, Jonas rates Tesla shares as an overweight and a buy, and his 430 price target suggests stock will climb 21% over the next coming months. Of course, my price target is still 700 plus, or 1,200 by the end of this year. 1,200, assuming the pluses, both pluses come to fruition, which is robotaxi is launched successfully, and Optimus has some kind of a reveal where we see the pricing and the feature sets and the exact timing of the beginning of shipments. CNBC says this, a law firm, there's so much good news, a law firm that represents Tesla and Elon Musk has written proposed legislation that would alter the Delaware corporate law, according to a person familiar with the subject. There's been a lot of reporting on this. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but the proposed legislation drafted by Richards, Leighton, and Finger, are also known as RLF, if adopted, would pave the way for reinstatement of Musk's pay package. That's a little strong language based on some of the other reporting that I've seen. It appears that what it would do is it would create an environment where the overall backroom whispering, combined with the governor's position, combined with the potential for lots of business leaving the state of Delaware, might cause the Supreme Court to think that the decision by the judge was wrong and overrule her decision. Anyway, I think that's all you really need to know about that. Let's see. I think that's really all that's important, because it's a very long article, and I don't think we would gain much from the rest of this. Let me go on. This from Market Watch this morning. I'm telling you, there's so much good news. Is the stock still only up 11? Let's take a quick look. Still 11. Okay. Pictet, Pictet, who I've never heard of before this morning, the Swiss private bank, combed through the 2024 fourth quarter 13F filings of 1,143 hedge funds to gauge what these big managers have been up to. The hedge funds increased their exposure to communications and technology sectors by 0.6%, though they remain mostly underweight in the tech sector. The major tech names remain well represented among the 25 largest holdings. The tech names included are Microsoft, Alphabet, Google, Amazon, NVIDIA. Well, it looks like the Mag 7 to me. Well, that's Mag 6 so far. Most notably, after being absent from the top 25 for several quarters in a row, Tesla returned to number 13 after hedge funds increased their aggregate holdings by 27%, according to Pictet. Well, we've been commenting on that for a week now, that we've seen lots and lots of big whales, investment houses, and family offices getting back into the stock in the fourth quarter. All right, this is Randy Kirk. Please hit like, subscribe, and notify. Regular programming today. Regular for now. Brian Wang will be on at the 7:45 hour, and we will have Jeff Lutz on at the roughly 5 o'clock time period. We also had Connie E. joining Patreon. Thank you, Connie, for joining up. We need lots more of you to do so. And Carlos L. bought himself a Cybertruck Bottle Opener. All right, this is from the FX Empire, the only real business news of the day, general kind of business news today. The latest data from the U.S. Census Bureau and the Department of Housing and Urban Development reveals a sharp decline in housing starts in January 2025, with a seasonally adjusted annual rate of just 1,366,000. New housing construction fell by 9.8% compared to December's revised estimate. The significant drop raises concerns about the strength of residential construction sector, particularly with single-family units down 8.4%. Building permits show stagnation, so permits flat. Despite the drop in housing starts, building permits remain stable. The number of privately owned housing units authorized by permits stood at 1,483,000, a marginal 0.1% increase, but still 1.7% below last year's January. Single-family authorizations remained at just under 1 million. Just under 996,000, indicating little growth momentum. However, multifamily permits for buildings with 5 or more units saw a slight dip to 427. That's not surprising. That is what would be expected right now. There is a little bit of oversupply of rental units, and as we've mentioned here, pricing is a bit down. I have a rabbit peeking in my window this morning, checking me out. A big bunny, too. He's a large bunny for this neighborhood. So I'm sure you're concerned about that, but how can I not notice? Vivek this morning this is a completely off news, but it's just something I have been caring about for a long time. Vivek Ramaswamy this morning is recommending a return to the use of mental institutions. I 100% agree. today we should be able to make some really nice ones and make sure that they're managed well, and that they're very do a great job of dealing with some of these individuals who should not be out on our streets. Meyer Thacker says this morning he's agreeing with Musk, Trump, and Brian Wang. And he says this morning, Mayor Thacker, while he sometimes drives people crazy with regard to his analysis of Tesla, most of the stuff that I see him put down is pretty smart stuff, and I have mentioned him a couple of times before. And he says this morning, if Doge can cut 500 billion in waste, not even a trillion, this is not totally in accordance with where Brian Wang is, but he says if they can cut just 500 billion in waste and hold all other spending even, so not increase, we could end the corporate income tax while balancing the budget over a 5-year period. That would make the U.S. a tax haven in the world and end quadruple taxation, drive long-term interest rates lower, and have untold effects on business formation and price levels. It would usher in a golden age of inflation-free growth. I don't agree with his direction. I agree with his conclusion, but not his direction. As Brian Wang has been saying, I think we should eliminate the consumer income tax, the regular you and me, day in and day out folks. We should eliminate that income tax. Corporate tax should remain. It would be, I think it would be destabilizing to the world trade to eliminate the income tax more than it is to do tariffs. I could explain that in great detail. Maybe you already understand it. Put in the comments below if you need me at some point in the future to talk about why that might be more destabilizing. I would point you to Ireland. Okay, global market investors said this morning. China and Japan continue to dump U.S. treasuries. China's holdings fell by 77 billion in 2024 to 759 billion, the lowest in 15 years. And Japan sold 57.3 billion, down to only holding $1 trillion, and it's their lowest since 2018. They are the largest foreign holders of U.S. public debt. That could indicate a reason why the 10-year is holding in such high levels in terms of the rates. CNN is reporting this morning that Republicans are now in the majority of the electorate. That's CNN reporting. Let me say it again. CNN is reporting this morning that Republicans are now the majority of the U.S. electorate by 2%, reversing a decades-old 5% benefit to the Democrats. This is massive. This is huge. This is a big, big, big change. Anyway, where are the markets now? Let's take a look at what's happening. Tesla is now only up 9 this morning in a down market, generally down market. It is holding pretty steady up there in that 9 to 11 for the last, about 45 minutes. It's been in 9 plus 9 plus 11. The Dow is down 144. The NASDAQ is down 75. S&P down 12. Magnificent 7 is mostly down. Google is up 34 cents, but all the rest of the other 5 are all down, including Meta down 18, NVIDIA down just 4 cents. The Cathie Woods are all down as well, except for ARKG and CRISPR. CRISPR is strongly up. It is against trend this morning, up very strongly, almost, let's see, that would be almost exactly 6% up for CRISPR this morning. Maybe they've got some cool news out this morning. All right. Just a second. I'm sorry. The percentages are, yes, I'll get it one of these days. Dow is down 0.33, NASDAQ down 0.39, and S&P down 0.21. Tesla up 2.75. Now moving back up towards that 11 again at $9.74. All right, let's go ahead and look at the bonds. And the bonds, good trend. Here we go. This is the direction I like. Yes, it is still up. The 10-year is down now. Good. Down now 0.2%. All morning been falling. It started up much higher. We're now down to 4.542. Love to see this trend continue. The 2-year is also down a full basis point, and the 1 month is down 0.3 of a basis point. So directionally, having been the yields being higher this morning, now headed down. That is good. Elon is just saying, is that easy? People were saying that Grok 3 AI made asteroids clone was lame because it didn't have the asteroids break. Never mind. Elon, I'm sorry. I just had to go to that because it looked like it might have been something fun and interesting, and it wasn't. Okay, moving on. We have got, besides the bonds, we've got oil. Okay, oil's up $1 this morning. So this was, against trend, against everything that I believed oil should be doing right now. So there had to be a reason. Well, okay, it turns out that there was a strike on an oil facility by the Ukraine in Russia, which is hurting production there. And believe it or not, Russia's oil still matters on the world market. And then the second thing is this cold snap, massive cold snap in the United States is also creating some supply problems in the northern parts of the United States. And so this, I think, will be a temporary situation. Texas Intermediate is up $1 this morning. Brent is up 79 cents. And natural gas is up 5.29%. I'm not sure if it's also being impacted, but even the headline agrees with me here, saying that supply concerns are driving the market higher this morning. Gold is up $6.30, $2,955. As noted, it will be going through 3,000, but that is not investment advice. Silver has backed off a little bit, but still sitting at $33.17, down 61 cents. And copper is down a tad, down 0.53% at 4.566, similar to where it has been recently. All right, we've got the dollar steady, barely changing this morning, and we've got Bitcoin up 2,263 after last night saying, hey, they've been not very volatile recently. Well, that's a pretty good move this morning, up to 96,000. And that would be the total sum of the news that we report on in the morning. And let's go back. Okay, so we have last night, the Nicholas Gibbs video. You want to see it right here. We could have gone on for hours. We actually had a very long green room before we started. We talked for a long time after the show was over, and even then we could have continued. Very good show last night. Nicholas Gibbs, if you missed it, there is the card. Regular programming with Jeff Lutz up at 5-ish, and then 7:45 for Brian Wang. We haven't shot that video yet. I think I know what we're going to talk about. It's going to be very cool. As always, Brian Wang is amazing. Then what else do I want to tell you about? Oh yeah, hit like, subscribe, notify, and join Patreon. Yeah, that's all I got for you right now. It's been great. Oh, wait a minute. Tesla, $8.66 now, $8.66, continuing to waffle in that same range. Okay. Until later today, it's been great talking to you.